Hey y'all, it's me. Welcome to my first official IGTV video. I'm doing this today because I got dermal fillers for the first time a few weeks ago, which was like kind of a big deal for me. And I wanted to make a video all about what the process was like in case there were other people who were thinking about getting fillers but weren't quite sure and needed somebody else to like weigh in on their experience. So I think what I'm gonna do is talk about the process of what happened, the consultation, the actual appointment, and then the recovery process. And I also had gotten some really good questions in my question box when I put up a question box when I was like initially talking about the fillers on my Instagram story. So I'm gonna try to answer all of those questions here during the video, but if I don't get to any of them, I'll just answer them on my story. So I went to Rejuvenate Austin. They're a local clinic. They used to be in Westlake and then they recently moved to Clarksville. They have a beautiful location on West 5th. It's kind of near like Better Half Coffee and Black Swan Yoga in that area. They have a parking garage, so you don't have to worry about parking downtown, which is always a plus. Full disclosure before we continue, Rejuvenate did offer me some free services in exchange for marketing help. I'm a marketer, so that is a relationship that I will have with businesses sometimes, but that won't affect how I talk about them. So even though I got the fillers for free, I'm not gonna like try to portray them in a different way than how they actually happened, if that makes sense. So the first step in the process is going in for your consultation. Mine lasted about 35 minutes. I went in for a consultation with Dr. Wright. She is the one who administers all of the injections at Rejuvenate, and she is an MD. She's a real doctor. So I went in and I showed her my face and I said, here are all of my insecurities. Like, what can you do for me to make it so that every time I look in the mirror, I don't see only those things? The insecurities that I'm talking about are, or were, I guess, my extremely hollow under eyes. Like the area under my eyes just doesn't have any fat in it. And so you could really see my orbital bone right here. And that would just make me look extremely tired all the time, and it looked terrible in photos, so I always found myself trying to like smooth my under eyes in photos, and I don't like editing my photos like that, so I wanted to not have to do that anymore. I also have a small bump on my nose, and I was feeling like my upper lip was way smaller than my lower lip, and it was making my face look like unbalanced, so I just wanted to correct that a little bit. I showed her all of these areas, and Dr. Wright recommended filler to fill the areas, which was what I was expecting. That was what I wanted to get. And so she prescribed one syringe of filler, which would have cost $650 if I had paid for it, which again, I didn't, but if somebody else was to go in off the street who didn't have a relationship with Rejuvenate and wanted to get a syringe of filler in these 3 areas or a similar amount of filler, it would have cost $650. That was one of the questions I got in the question box, so I wanted to make sure I answered that. So we had our consultation. I asked her all of my burning questions about filler. I had a lot, like, what is it? Like, what's it made out of? How long does it last? Is it gonna stretch out my face, etc.? I had a lot of questions, and she was able to answer all of my questions, and I felt very at ease. She was very knowledgeable on the subject and just made me feel really comfortable. After the consultation, we made an appointment, and I waited a couple of weeks very excitedly for my appointment to come up, and then I went in for my appointment to get my fillers. Let's talk about pain, because I feel like that's the thing that most people want to know. So like I said, I got fillers under my eyes, on my nose, and on my upper lip. When I first got into the room at the office, like the little like service room where they actually do like the procedures, Dr. Wright put numbing cream all over the areas where she was going to be injecting me, and then she left the room for about 20 minutes to let the cream numb my skin to make the injections less painful. She first started off by injecting lidocaine under my eyes. Lidocaine is a nerve blocker. So she did one injection here and one injection there of lidocaine. I will say those pinched. It wasn't like a terrible pain, but I definitely could feel it, and it was like a pinch. I also bruised immediately. So I had 2 little round bruises, one under each eye, and those lasted about 7 or 8 days after I got the procedures done. I didn't bruise from any of the fillers. It was just the lidocaine shots. So she did the lidocaine shots, and then she used a needle to inject under my eyes. And what I initially thought was going to happen was that she was going to fill this whole area with filler. And I expected it to be super uncomfortable. But what she actually did was just inject a little bit on top of my orbital bone so that it wasn't as prominent. So I actually don't have any filler like up here or right there. It's only here. And that totally solved the problem. And it took like 2 seconds. It was not bad at all. It didn't hurt either. That part really didn't hurt. So then she moved on to my nose, and you can still see it a little bit. It used to be way more prominent, but I just have like a tiny little bump right there. And so what she did was she injected a little bit of filler here and a little bit of filler there to minimize the bump and make my nose look more straight. That also did not hurt at all. There was one time when she put the needle in when I felt like a little prick and I was like, oh, what was that? But besides that, like anytime she put the needle in or when she was like, you know, injecting the filler into my skin, I didn't feel it at all. After she had done my under eye, I think tear troughs is the proper name for that. After she had done my tear troughs and my nose, she moved on to my lips. My lip, I should say, not the lower one. The lower one's fine. It was just the upper one that was thin. She did 3 injections on this side and 4 on this side because my lips were a little bit uneven. And I have to tell you, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The lips were pretty painful. They hurt. They really hurt. So that is something to consider if you're thinking about getting lip injections. The rest of the injections on my face did not hurt at all. The lip injections were pretty painful. I did express to her how painful they were. And she said that if I came back and got the injections done again in like 8-10 months to a year, she would leave the numbing cream on for longer and she would put more lidocaine in the syringe when she was injecting my lips. She said she did have some lidocaine in there, but apparently it wasn't enough. Everybody's pain tolerance is different. Everybody's nerves are going to be different. So you know, it's possible that if you go in and get your lips done, it's not going to hurt very much. It just happened to hurt me a lot. So I wanted to let everybody know that it was pretty painful. I left the office after getting my injections done, and I didn't really feel any pain like after the needles came out. I will say that the area under my eyes right here and my nose were pretty tender for about 3 days, 4 days afterwards, not just by themselves, but if I like, you know, forgot that I had gotten injections done and went to like, you know, rub my face or like scratch my nose, or that was a weird motion. If I went to like scratch my nose, it did feel pretty tender in those areas. The lips, however, even though they hurt a lot while they were being injected, they didn't hurt at all during the recovery process. The lips did swell the most. I didn't get any under eye swelling. Like I said, I did have 1 bruise here and 1 bruise here for about 7 or 8 days afterwards. No swelling on my nose whatsoever. And then my lips my top lip was pretty swollen for several days. After about 8 days, all of the swelling was gone, all of the bruising was gone, and I could just like see the results, and I'm super happy with them. I'm gonna show you guys some before and afters right now. Hopefully I can figure out how to insert them. So here is a before of me. I think I'm gonna do the eyes first so you can really see those tear troughs, my nose bump, and also my upper lip, which was way smaller than my lower lip. This next batch of videos is right after I got the injections done. This next batch of videos is the next day. And then this next batch of videos is a couple of days later. So here is my face now. I think it looks pretty cute. I actually don't think I look super different from before. Something that I really like about Rejuvenate is that they err on the side of going more natural. They like a really natural look there. So especially for my first time going in and getting fillers, I didn't want to walk out looking like a completely different person from who I was when I walked in. So I really liked the results. I think that they're so natural looking. I think they look great. And now when I look in the mirror, I don't only hyper focus on my insecurities anymore, which is just amazing for my mental health. Anyway, I'm really happy with the results. I loved my experience at Rejuvenate. I'm actually going back there on Monday to get a facial, so I would go back. I will go back. I am going back. Highly recommend them. And I do have a coupon code if you would like to also go to Rejuvenate for some kind of service, not even necessarily fillers, if you'd like to try out one of their facials or dermaplaning, if you wanted to get like Kybella or something. If you wanted to go in and get a service, I'm going to put my discount code here. It's not an affiliate code. I don't get a kickback from it. It's just a discount code. If y'all have any more questions, put them in the comments. I will answer them to the best of my ability, and anything that I don't know off the top of my head right now, I can ask Dr. Wright when I go back on Monday and see her. And basically that's all I wanted to say. So it was a good experience. I'm really glad I did it. I would totally do it again. And it was fine, and the recovery process was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That's it. All right. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.